There's one downside to these visits is that I have to go home now and realize that this is going to be washed off.
Don't wash it off.
Well, I'm going to try to keep it on as much as I can.
Whatever you do, don't come here in junub. Well, a fragrant good morning to everyone. I'm sitting here with my old friend, Sheikh Ehab.
Good morning, it's nice to see you.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Sheikh Ehab is my old partner in crime. And when I first came to Jordan, he was very helpful and very accommodating. He took care of all the arrangements for me, and without his help, I would have never been able to stay here, basically.
To tell you the truth, I'm the benefactor of all of it.
You remember the sakin, the old sakin?
Oh yeah,
when you showed me, like, right when I arrived, I was like, so who do I see? They said, well, here's the man. It's like,
yeah, well, I have many...
The governor.
No, the mayor, actually.
The mayor.
The mayor,
the
yes,
mayor.
the mayor, yeah. That's the title I was given. You know, so.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
the khadim is more like it, though.
You do a great, wonderful service and a fantastic job, and without your help, that we wouldn't have a community here.
Jazakumullah khair. I appreciate that. You know, some brothers came recently, they hadn't been here since 2005, I think. And they just came to visit me and they said, we just wanted to tell you how much we never told you how much we appreciated your help when we first came here. And tell you that meant the world to me when they said that.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it for shukr, of course, but you know, it's just nice to know when you hear that you were able to help people in a certain situation. And like I said, when I first went to Egypt from America, I wish I had someone like me to welcome me there, to help me navigate.
So he who does not thank people does not thank Allah.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. So Sheikh Ehab is due a whole huge token of gratitude. Apart from all of that, he's also an avid oud head and an oud lover of
thanks to Sidi Ensar,
of massive proportions. I mean, he loves oud. Sheikh Ehab is an oud lover like no other, and he is very serious. He applies the sunnah in like the principles of like buying the best. For example, whatever you can afford, you just get the very top.
Yeah.
No haggling, no looking for cheap substitutes, no synthetics.
Well, to tell you the truth, I've always had that the principle that you should buy the best that you can.
Right.
Okay, even if it's a little bit out of your budget, right? Because of how much you're going to enjoy it, right? And how much satisfaction you get out of it. You know, of course, you can't always do that, but you try with the oud. Of course, thanks to you. You introduced me to this. It was part of my spiritual journey, actually.
Well, the honor is all mine.
And so this was when I first tried oud. I was like, wow, this was heavenly. Is what I thought, really.
There's one type of oud. I have to tell you, I'm actually guilty of something.
Okay.
I have to admit, there's one type that I've never shown you before.
Oh, okay.
I've never shown you this oud. I've never given it in the zawiya. I've never swiped anybody. I've been very, very selfish. I admit. I mean, I am guilty of this. Yeah. It's called kiara. Okay. Have you heard of kiara before?
No, not really, no.
There's another term for it that is used in Chinese. It's called kinan.
Kinan. Okay.
So kiara is actually Japanese, just as a quick, for background info. Kiara is a Japanese term. It refers to the very highest type of incense. Japanese have a huge history of incense appreciation and listening to the incense, and the whole Kodo school of incense appreciation is very much part of Japanese life.
You know, it's pretty interesting actually, this information, because one always thinks that the oud, you're thinking, I mean for myself, of course, that it comes from Indonesia,
It does.
Malaysia,
It does.
and all this stuff, and Japan is never mentioned.
It doesn't come from Japan.
Yeah.
See, this is one mistake people make, is that they think, they hear Kiara, they say, oh, this grows in Japan.
Okay.
Actually, there's no oud that has ever, to my knowledge, I mean, it's actually impossible for oud to actually grow and thrive in Japan, because the Aquilaria tree cannot handle the four seasons. You know, it is a tropical
tree. Okay.
And it needs the rainforest, it needs the jungle, it needs...
Okay, so where does Japan come into this?
Japan, it's
They're a big appreciator of this.
Yeah, I mean, they had a total monopoly on the entire trade, you know, centuries ago.
Yeah.
All of the Vietnamese prime types of agar wood went straight to Japan.
Oh, okay.
For them, it was just firewood. In Vietnam, okay, they appreciated this has a smell, but compared to, given what the Japanese are paying for it, don't even think about it, just sell it to the Japanese. So they have tons and tons and tons of Kiara, the heads of these major companies in Japan, like Shoyedo, Bayedo, and they do not sell it.
Oh, so they store it?
They have, I mean, literally tons. I'm not saying tons and tons, like meaning lots and lots. I mean, thousands and thousands of kilograms of it in their stockhouses.
And they use it for firewood?
They give it to you, I mean, they share it with people, but 1 gram at a time. So every customer, I mean, check this out. They're so, I mean, for them, it's all about the principle. I mean, it's like, this is my heritage, this is my cultural heritage, my tradition, my identity, and I'm not going to sell that for money. Because now China was booming, you know, the agarwood trade in China is just like a total boom recently in the past 6-7 years, has seen like demand like unprecedented in the history of any commodity in the world.
Wow.
You know, especially aromatics. So agarwood went from being like 3,000 a kilogram for the super sinking black king grade, which is what they call it, in like 2005 when I was buying, to now the very same wood. I mean, you know, it has sold for as high as 200,000 a kilogram. 200,000 a kilogram.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and I have that type of wood here, and I'll show you some of this later. This is not, this is not the subject right now. I just want to show you this because I've never shown you Kinam before. You've never tasted it. You've never smelled it.
I'm sure you did this in a way that you knew that later on you would have something that you had held back. And so when you give it to me now, you would say, I just wanted you have to peak.
I was just, actually I had the same approach as the Japanese. Like I only sell 1 gram at a time. I don't offer more than 1 gram options on my website. You can only get 1 gram. Obviously, people are free. I mean, technically speaking, you know, they could, you know, do
have their brother
gram,
buy a gram.
You know, they can buy 1 gram times whatever, but the maximum amount offered, you know, is 1 gram, right? We don't say like, okay, you're banned from buying it again or this kind of thing. But Shoyedo is a lot stricter than we are with that, you know, because they, you know, it's part of their identity.
Yeah, that makes it more valuable than anything. Then, if it's part of their identity.
Some people say it's valuable as gold. I mean, they have no idea. I mean, 1 ounce of gold goes for what? Like, you know, like a gram of gold is what, like $30 or something like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Kiara is like Shoyedo retail price. If you go on shoyedo.com right now and you check it out, it's $1,590 US.
Wow.
For 1 gram of agarwood. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, you can't use it to go and buy something in the store though. But for those who appreciate scents and fragrances and nature,
right?
You know, and tradition, especially tradition.
Yes.
You know, this is something that I've learned to appreciate more since I came from America. Because America doesn't really have any tradition, right? It's only 200 some odd years old.
Well, I mean, we have apple pie, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I don't think you can compare that to agarwood, though.
We have Bob Dylan, we have apple pie, we got Edgar Allan Poe, and
they're all considered contemporary.
We got
to these
Abe Lincoln, man.
The traditions of civilizations like Japan and China.
Of course, you got dynasties. These are dynasties.
Yeah.
Who can compare with that?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
I think so. I mean, you've kept me waiting all these years.
I have primed you.
This is it.
Just about enough and pique your curiosity sufficiently. The first whiff is the most important. Just take that in.
Oh.
That's $1,000 breath right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
This has but yeah, I don't think you can put a price on it though.
You can't.
I mean,
You can't.
just smelling it. Wow, that has a.
It's like we're in a different space.
Wow.
Do you feel the difference? It's like I feel like a different person.
No, I do feel difference because I'm used to smelling, bonfires in America. You just throw the local wood on there, and this is what you're smelling, But this is it's burning wood to a level I've never heard.
I mean, this is not wood. This is the holiest incense. I mean,
Yeah,
Kinam. It's like, and this is red Vietnamese Kinam, right? If you classify it, if we were to classify it, you don't want to waste any of these fumes that come. They're very expensive, and it's like.
Okay, so since you're in a good mood to give me this,
Yeah.
let's keep it over here.
Yeah. See, I even forgot what I was saying. What was I saying?
In Vietnam.
In Vietnam, right? This is Vietnamese green oil Kiara, because this actually makes you forget. It makes you like you enter a cloud of this bliss, and it's just it's like you zone out. This is what you call Zen. This is what I call Zen. I've never been a monk or meditated or done any of these things that you do, but the meditation and all that for me is all in there.
Wow. And how long does something like this burn for?
That will burn with us for as long as we sit here talking. That will keep going and giving more and more and more.
And this is really amazing, honestly. I'm not joking around.
We're not joking about everything here is honestly.
But I mean, some people, if they smell something, they might. I mean, of course, we're being honest. But I'm saying this is more than they even thought, even after that build-up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking this is.
You thought the build-up was a joke.
Not a joke, but
just
some
like
people have a tendency.
Proportions.
Had a tendency, to
hyperbolize.
Yes, yeah, exactly. No. But this is. I'm telling you, this is. You got to smell this, really. It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
No, you can actually. I mean, we're not done enjoying and experiencing Kinam just yet.
Oh.
Because the real way to eat Kinam, right? To taste Kinam is to eat it. Are you ready for this?
Eat it.
To eat it. Exactly. This is one of the most precious and most expensive types of Chinese medicine. You don't actually swallow it, but you just keep it on your tongue, and you just forget that it's there. Just wet it, Then you swallow the saliva that contains the oil. You'll see what happens.
Okay. So stick my tongue out.
Just put it on your hand, and then there you go.
Okay.
You're not going to feel it immediately. How's that taste?
I'm just savoring it.
He can't talk. He's gone. It's like there's no more Sheikh Ehab.
Well, I don't want any of it to get out, so it's hard to talk when you're. Yeah, it does. It's actually permeating. It seems like on my tongue.
You have to keep it there, and what you see is that it's like eating like lidocaine, for example. I call it like this mentholated lidocaine. This is what I've nicknamed it. But obviously, lidocaine. How can you compare lidocaine to this? I mean, this is a heavenly nectar. It's like it immediately impacts the soul, the psyche. You feel calm. You feel you feel like you're like zoned into whatever you're thinking about. You're like, and all worries and all concerns and stresses are kept at bay. It's like nothing can actually reach you. That's what I find. I eat a lot of this when I fly because I fly a lot, man. And I don't like turbulence at all. So when I face any turbulence, I just pop one of these, and I start making some dhikr. And you know, I forget that there's any turbulence or anything. It's like it doesn't actually reach.
It does feel like, yeah. Is this part of their tradition? They
This is, I mean, I haven't heard of Japanese people like eating it like religiously. They do this.
Yeah, the smell.
Which you can still smell there.
Yeah. Wow, this would be good. No, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is...
Lovely isn't not even a good adjective actually for it.
It's not sufficient.
No, not sufficient, no.
It's transcendental, is what I would say.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Reminds me of my hippie days, transcendental, transcendental meditation. But this is, yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
Is it legal?
Yeah. Of course it is.
No, because it's, you know, when you get these feelings, you know, you think, oh, something this good can't be legal.
No, it's been legalized.
Okay.
I think now recently they started investing, they got stocks and everything, but not this, though, something else.
So they actually use this for medicinal purposes?
Yes, they use this as Chinese medicine. They just self-medicate. I mean, they also go to the doctor, right? But they also self-medicate. And it's very common for like my teachers that I have a very close working relationship with to be eating this while we're talking. And it's actually part of like honoring a guest. And that's actually what I'm actually doing is just that.
Yeah, this is a big honor.
I mean, it's like I've taken that tradition and I've like kind of like just like I'm sharing it over here.
This is wonderful. This is.
Do you feel the slight numbness at the tip of your tongue?
I do.
Yeah.
I felt it actually a little bit in the beginning, but it became more prevalent actually as the time went on.
Yeah. They say it's extremely packed with antioxidants. There's studies that have been done on this. It's anti-carcinogenic. It is good for heart disease. It's good for everything.
Wow.
You know, I mean, if you look at the natural function of why it was created in the first place, like most aromatics are created just for like like to lure the bees so that flowers can pollinate and these kind of things.
Okay.
Procreation, reproduction. This is just about survival because the tree is facing an existential crisis. It's like attacked by a disease or by a bear or by a worm or by a peacock. And there's a hole, and the tree knows that it can die from this. So this is not a smell of the beauty of reproduction or musk deer and all this, right?
Yeah.
This is a smell, this is a vista unto the next life, is how I see it.
Wow.
Because this is the smell...
So self-healing.
Self-healing, right? This is the smell of staying alive when you're on the brink of death.
Wow, this is...
That's why it's so crucial to all of these spiritual traditions, starting with the Muslim tradition. You know, we have oud, obviously it's the scent of Jannah.
Yeah.
The Buddhists, you know, Zen meditation. They have Kodo in Japan, Zen Buddhism. Kodo is all about this. I mean,
it always seems that it always seems, even to me, back in my hippie days, right? There's always been, meditation has always been associated with some kind of scent, right?
Right.
So always, even back then, there was incense, right?
Yeah.
Now, what that incense was made from, I don't know, because I wasn't open to that. I always tried to be as natural as I could.
Right.
So I would buy, without question, from people I knew that had like these natural food shops and stuff like that. But it always seemed that there was this, connection between meditation, and incense.
Right.
That's why I'm kind of surprised I never really had the good fortune of being exposed to oud or something like the natural oil, right? Except Allah guided me towards you.
Astaghfirullah. This is
all. And now this is really.
This is all the blessings of Allah. Really.
I don't know if I should be angry with you now or just hated the fact that you shared this with me now and not sooner.
I mean, if I was concerned that you know, if I shared it with you sooner, and I don't share it with anyone on a personal level, you know, unless, you know,
Wow, that's really.
we have like just due to the nature of the work, you know, because it can be expensive. It can be expensive, and I just don't see myself giving out grams and grams of kinam on a daily basis to my friends.
Yeah. Well, that would be the ultimate sacrifice, I would say, besides giving up your life for your friends.
I try to be a friendly and a giving person, right? But not with kinam.
Yeah.
You know, I'll give you like with Yusuf, for example, if you want, you know, organic. These are beautiful. I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't give it to you unless it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Unless it was
of course I know that.
That I'm proud of.
Of course I know that. So even the lowest scale, which is not low, that for me is you know, a spiritual experience. And
hold that thought.
Okay.
Hold that thought, because actually I have something I want to show you.